When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind work backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind work backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind work backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, more singing. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you. You left my spirit with you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you. You make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. I remember you. You left my spirit with you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you. You make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember.
Welcome everybody to the Owlet Tournament Minors Division. I'm Blackman, and I'm here joined by...
I'm Penguinator here to help out Color.
Yeah, and we're going to be casting the Happy Squids versus Slipstream game. A game that actually has a little bit of effect on the playoffs coming up here.
Yeah, so right now we've got all of the teams that are locked in for the stage playoffs here in stage 3. However, seeding can still change a little bit depending on what happens here. So with Happy Squids, if they're able to win this, they're going to be first seed and drop the Dumpster Divers down into second, Kraken Stoles in third, and Slipstream into fourth. But that also then depends on how the match goes, because even if Slipstream loses, if they lose by 2 or less maps, they will be in third seed with Happy Squids still in. So if Slipstream loses here today, they might not want to play Happy Squids again right away, and if they're in the fourth seed, they play as soon as Sunday in the first round of playoffs. So it kind of depends there. They don't want that loss. They want that win so they can jump into third seed, maybe feel a little more comfortable going in playoffs.
Yeah, and a big part of the people who are going to be kind of affecting today's game, I think you got to look at probably the DPS for Happy Squids and a little bit for Slipstream as well. Hawk and the King have been lighting it up this stage, especially having the duo get the most. I think they've been playing the most together in the recent times.
Yeah, the two of them, their hero pools just complement each other so well. They light up the kill feed every time they're playing. You see really big ultimates getting a lot of effect out of things, but I think we also don't want to downcast Slipstream because they pull, talking as a team that has played them before, they pull out some weird comps that are really effective, and they're honestly, I just have no way to describe it other than effective, but weird. It's so much fun to watch.
And a big part of the comp weirdness, as I can say, for Slipstream is Cajun Wise Guy and Avalex. Those two have been able to adapt, and their flexibility has let their team play all these weird comps, where we've seen stuff like a Ryan Zarya with the Baptiste Lucio back when Moira was pretty meta. And we've even seen, I believe we saw some Torb even in this last little bit. So anything's really possible here with Slipstream. And we're going to be getting right into this first map of Oasis. As we're looking at the teams, if nothing changes, we're going to be seeing my personal favorite comp from Happy Squids. And that is Furry Dive. The dive that consists of Winston and Wrecking Ball. It's not something I think we've seen a whole lot of in recent times, but might be a comp they try to pull out with this new patch that came through.
I think just looking at these compositions, though, I like Slipstream just a little better because Reapers don't really do a lot of damage to those taints. And if Atomic Devil hit his shots, McCree can put a lot of damage on that pharmacy. But we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, as we're getting into it, both teams opting to go low here, it looks like. A little bit surprising to see both teams make this rotation, as Hawk gets a good pick onto the McCree, beating that counterpart. But it's really hard for Happy Squids to get through this choke here with the Reaper and Ryan kind of blocking it. The ball's looking for Boops, but Hawk is just getting way too much value in the backline for them to keep staying there, and it's going to look like Happy Squids will take first point control, losing almost nobody there if this res goes through, and they lost nobody with that res.
Yeah, that was a really strong fight from Happy Squids. Most of the team was just kind of distracting Slipstream, it looked like, while Hot Poplas were just going to town up there with the pharmacy. They were taking people out instantly and just lighting up that kill feed like we said they were going to.
And the neat thing about Happy Squids is Hawk and the King can both play this Pharah, so it's really hard to know who's going to be playing because their styles are pretty different as well. So as you see, Hawk does get Barrage here. Pretty quick Barrage, and he gets a good Barrage off, getting both the Rhine and the Moira. Does get taken down by the Baptiste, and Avalex gets War and Peace, making this fight 2 apiece. The Amp Matrix, apologies, comes through from Debugsta, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough here for Slipstream to finish this fight, as just too much point control is being held by the Happy Squids right now.
Talking as a guy that likes to play Baptiste, I totally understand why Debugsta wanted to throw that Amp Matrix down, because it was 4-4, they thought they could take it back with that. However, Happy Squids just pushed them back further and further, and they just pretty much made the Amp Matrix useless there. Oh, and that's a bad pick for Slipstream. Staggers them just even more for this next fight, giving Happy Squids just even more percentage there.
And if we're looking at the ults here, we've got 5 online for Happy Squids, where all of Slipstream now is still coming up on that like 62%. It looks like they're trying to get Devil back, not giving too much, but he's being kind of hounded by this Pharah on the way in. Not really able to take this fight in the air, as it looks like they're finally going to make their approach here through this left side. No ults online, but you're going to see Minefield gets engaged as Warren goes in. Immortality saves a good chunk, but the Minefield does get Avalex, the real tank counter here. So the Nano Winston's going to get a lot of value coming in here in this little area. The Primal comes through just to maybe keep him alive, as it doesn't look like either team really has the damage coming through to kill anyone, as Debugsta does go down, but Cole comes through here. A big Shatter getting 3 here. 2 apologies as he comes through. The High Noon, it doesn't look like these ults are going to make a huge changes, but kills are going both sides, as it looks like every ult that Slipstream could get that fight, they used. The Barrage comes through from Hawk, and it doesn't look like this fight is going to go in the favor of Slipstream. Just too little too late.
I think a big thing to focus there is Jim Blue looked really strong. Hawk was getting those picks and just never stopping. That Furry Dive worked out really well, I think, for Happy Squids right there. They weren't necessarily always diving people, but just the coordination that they had, it just made every fight go really well for the Happy Squids.
Yeah, and as talking as a player here, I know we have seen Jim Blue try and play that ball before on, I believe it was Nepal. We versed Jim Blue on a ball as a solos. And he looked very strong on it even then, back on the old patch. And with this new patch with less shields, I think Ball is going to be a character we see a lot more play out of. As looking at this side of Slipstream, this is one of those weirder comps we were talking about. They're running the Ryan Winston here, maybe trying to just counter small things, but we have Hawk on the Genji instead of the Pharah on the side of Happy Squids.
And we've got about as traditional dive as you're going to see here.
Oh yeah. As we're getting in here, it looks like Happy Squids are going to just take high ground here, deciding not to really go either way, as Slipstream's happy to stay low, as Warren goes into the middle of their team, gets picked off early due to the Reaper just being there. A small, kind of questionable dive in there from him, as he gets, both tanks get taken down early, and this fight has the makings to be Slipstream's here, as they can clean it up quick.
Yeah, it was a pretty good fight there. It was a little scrappy, but Happy Squids didn't seem to just all engage together. Like, they had that coordination on that first point, but it looks like Speed Ryan's about to get staggered pretty hard right here.
Yeah, that's a bad stagger there. He was staying up on the high ground trying to do all the value he could up there, but it doesn't look like he was going to get out. As we see double shield coming out from the side of Happy Squids. Still a very good comp, even with this. Oh, that boop was dirty. Okay.
I'm not sure how I feel about this switch, because they just switched every person on every person on Happy Squids just changed their hero, so ult economy's devastatingly in Slipstream's favor right now. It's going to take a couple fights for Happy Squids to really be able to compete with their ultimate economy.
And if they get staggers like the one they had there on Jim Blue, it doesn't look like it's going to be happening anytime soon, ult economy-wise. As Atomic Devil has looked very strong up on this fire, with nobody really pressuring them down, as we have the Barrage coming online, as well as both support ults. Oh, the Reaper in the back line. It's always dangerous. Forces Immortality out here early. As the Barrage comes through, he getting War and Peace, but Atomic Devil does lose their life in the process. I don't know if I'm a fan of that barrage, just for the sheer fact of Grasp, which another Grasp. Jim Blue's Grasps here have saved from 2 different ults. A great Maywall here makes that Shatter pretty much non-existent here.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't what they wanted, that Maywall there, but it did give the Bucks the chance to resurrect Avalanche, so it's not completely bad there.
Yeah, and Slipstream committed 4 ults to get only really 1 kill in that fight. It turns ult in the favor of Happy Squids, as we see the Blizzard come out from Hawk here. Gets just the Rhine in it, but that's more than enough right now, as it looks like the Mercy also over on the side did get frozen, but they weren't able to capitalize. Marcus goes down here from the Winston dive, but right now that's 3 kills to 1 in the favor of Happy Squids. As it looks like Slipstream's happy to just kind of give this point up and start building ults for the future.
Yeah, it's not a horrible place for Slipstream to find themselves in. Ult economy is in favor of Happy Squids right now. The Happy Squids are only just now down to 10% almost, so they've got time to bring this back. What I would like to see from Slipstream is them to just kind of bide their time, maybe take a dry fight or 2, try and get some ultimates out, bait some ultimates from Happy Squids, and then just come on together once they have enough ultimates to really just take the fight and win it convincing.
And a big reason, as the Dragons and the Pole come through, they're able to only get debug stuff, but that should be more than enough to kind of halt this attack here from the side of Slipstream, as it looks like they're going to disengage here once again.
Speaking of halting the fight, there was a real nice halt from War and Peace there. I know War and Peace really enjoys that Orisa, and it shows right there. Marcus had sent the Dragon Strike in, and it was a strong Dragon Strike, but however, War and Peace pulled them all into it, and it was just a great way to get that pick on debug stuff.
Yeah, and as I was about to say, Jim Blue on the Sigma, on that attack as they were trying to get point, he countered 2 different ults with just Kinetic Grasp, as he got both DPS ults kind of used on him, and he was able to keep himself alive. As the Sigma ult does come through here, Trans gets forced though. Barrage goes into the Trans. I'm not sure how big a fan I am of that, and that's a late Primal Rage trying to just get Pop Lots here. He gets Pop Lots, but he's going to get frozen, and Yuso... I'm not a huge fan of some of the ults that were committed there from Slipstream.
I don't think that personally that they should have committed either of those. It would have been really nice to have both of them, but once the barrage went out, I can't think of a good reason why USO did pop the Primal Rage. I think they need to just take this. They don't want to get that mental boom going on. They have this one last fight coming on here, and they've got 2, almost 4 ultimates coming on.
We're going to need a big Shatter, and he does get 2 big picks here with the Shatter, as neither can get really capitalized on due to a good Blizzard to displace. Marcus got taken down, as Avalex on the flank was able to get huge value there in that fight, as he got all the supports and tanks, I believe. That's going to go to the side of Slipstream, and we're going to a map 3 here.
Yeah, Avalex has had a lot of success. He would be shadow stepping up top there into that middle pillar where the rest of Happy Squids can't see him. Then he just drops down right on top of him, picks a support or 2, goes out. It's exactly what you want to see from that Reaper play, and Avalex has been doing it amazingly all game so far.
So on the side of Slipstream, you think they stick with this Winston Ryan comp that they've been running, as it seemed like it was getting pretty good value there right at first against Marcus on the Hanzo?
I have to admit, it was strangely effective. You had Faye up in the front doing some pretty good Reinhardt things, but then you had USO diving into the back, especially harassing Marcus, like you said. I think, yeah, it looks like they definitely want to stay on it, and honestly, it's gotten the results that they wanted, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, and we're going to see a Pharah, which isn't something that's very often used on this map just due to kind of the confined space on this point, as Happy Squids is looking to do kind of a sneakier engage here onto the point, as they all went bottom and went left, and Slipstream doesn't realize yet, as they're all kind of looking around. Avalex went for the flank, but it looks like he's going to have to wraith out, and Marcus is the one to get the first pick on Avalex, but the res does come through with the Bugston on the high ground. Atomic Devil looks like they kind of rocketed themselves there, but Slipstream's going to get first point control. That's going to be actually huge, as everything they get here is kind of just extra value.
I just want to point out Poplot's got an Amp Matrix in that one fight right there, healing enough damage to put enough damage. That Amp Matrix was really what helped them take that fight so quickly. You don't really want the other team to take the point as quickly as Slipstream did. However, the fact that they were able to take it back after only 11% is pretty good there, and I think a lot of that is thanks to that Amp Matrix pop lots.
For sure. And even though Poplots did build his ult in one fight, on the other side, Phalian and Uso, they're both very close to their tank ults because they were able to get a lot of value with them playing solo. Avalex is going to Shadow Step in here. Unlucky that he was just caught out. Shatter comes through and gets the Mei who gets charged here, but Uso goes down to Jim Blue in there with the Immortality coming out. And at this point, it looks like they're just trying to play point and wait the game out. I don't know if this is going to go. Another Amp Matrix comes out from Poplots. He's been building these amazingly quickly so far, as Poplots gets 2 there to clean this fight up.
It's exactly what you want to see from your Baptiste player. Healing everybody up in the Amp Matrix, making those picks. What you don't really want to see from your Reaper player, though, is Shadow Stepping just right into the middle of the team and dying right away, and unfortunately that is what Avalex did right there. Maybe it just wasn't exactly where he wanted to Shadow Step, but he just brought himself right into the Mei from Hawk, and it didn't end super well, unfortunately.
And at this point, you're coming up against 5 ults, and you've got 3, maybe 4, if Avalex can get some good shots off on the tanks here during this fight. It's going to be really hard for them to get any value, as Jim Blue shuts down that barrage. And the trans did come through there, even though the barrage got shut down. And then let Poplots get charged through. That's a major source of healing for them so far. But the Dragons and Blizzard do get committed. Point did get flipped, though, here. Yuso picks up 2 there. No supports here on the side of Happy Squids, as it looks like Yuso and the Mercy are trying to battle their way out here. Hawk is just the only one trying to stall out and stay alive. Has to use Ice Block, and Immortality got committed here. He gets frozen on the jump, but it's alright.
What I liked seeing was the Battle Mercy pick from Debuchsta onto War and Peace. You always love to see the Battle Mercy work out. Always love to see it.
I have to say, they're in the fight. I don't know if Jim Blue, if there was just a miscommunication, but the trans got used a little early in that fight. Kind of going to allow for a huge Death Blossom to come through if he can get it off from Avalex here, which it looks like he's looking for it right now. Trying to bait out Immortality, maybe? He does get picked off by Hawk. These Discord Orbs have been making a huge difference for these Icicles. Primal comes through here, trying to maybe get a pick or 2 on the supports, but he goes down. Poplots does go down again. He's been kind of hounded by this far these last 2 fights, as Atomic Devil builds another barrage. Cole did get engaged to speak to Ryan, as Phalian gets Hawk. It's really just the tanks here on point, and Avalex committed the Death Blossom, and they commit a barrage. Jim Blue, that's a late Sigma ult. I'm not a huge fan of that. That could have been a huge tide changer here in this next little bit.
I think just looking at the ult advantage, I think I have to let Happy Squids, but those staggers looked great for Slipstream going into this last fight right here.
And I think this shatter here from Phalian will decide how this goes through. Phalian gets caught out here. Does go down. Dragons go through middle of point. Pick up Peter Panning. Those look like they came from spawn. They get the res off here onto the Moira, and Yuso's still getting value here in the backline. Nobody shut him down so far, but Jim Blue does finally get value on him, and Peter Panning goes down. We're in real last fight territory. You've got to go maybe a stall character, unless you think your Ryan can make it all the way back, but you've got to play around this Maywall. Shatter comes through picking up 2, but he isn't able to capitalize on it, and he didn't touch point. Avalex is going to have to be the one to touch here. He gets on point, but he gets taken down due to a great kill there from Jim Blue, with this Discord Orb helping tremendously on the side of Happy Squids, as it looks like Happy Squids will indeed take map 1 in a close match so far.
I think we're in for a good set right here, if the first map on Oasis has anything to show for it.
And I have to say, after that one map, a name that's stuck in my head is definitely Poplots. He's been playing very well on this Baptiste, looks very comfortable on it. His Immortality fields have been very good, and he's been building Amp Matrix very quickly.
I've got to agree. All the Amp Matrixes have looked big, and you always see some pitch coming through as well. You always like to see your support players healing everybody. As you can see, 42% of the team damage taken, Poplots healed, but you also want to see those pitch coming in, and it seemed every fighter, so Poplots would have at least one for his own.
Oh, yeah. And then, looking at maybe the rest of the comp they're running so far, A little surprising not to see the king be ran here. I don't know if there's other issues, but he is available for Happy Squids. Maybe they just were hoping for Marcus and Hawk, the DPS duo. Maybe they've been practicing some of the comps they ran today. Or maybe, I'm not quite sure. But looking at the rest of their team, a name that I can give a little bit of a context to is Speak to Ryan. He is a vocal leader for this Happy Squids team. And I think you can see it when he was on that Zen. His Discord orbs would get focused down very quickly from the side of Happy Squids. They were kind of just collapsing on people. And I think a large part of that has to go to how vocal Ryan is in these games.
Yeah, I think another thing to talk about, we want to make sure to focus on Slipstream as well a little bit. There's some strong reses coming through from Debutsta, and a lot of times you'll hear the Mercy res going on in the middle of a fight. You just think, oh god, Mercy's about to die, about to be canceled. But no, about every single res I saw Debutsta attempt, I think, went through, and it was a great res to come back and helped really shift fights in Slipstream's favor a lot of the time.
And then another thing to point out for Slipstream is a name that I was a little bit surprised by. Not a name that has been making maybe the plays that I was expecting. I was expecting Avalex from their DPS side, but it was actually Atomic Devil on that Pharah. They looked solid. They looked very strong, and they looked like they were in control of some of those fights there on those last two maps, with picks off on Poplots and other supports happening for most of the game.
Yeah, I have to agree. Poplots was doing really well, like we were saying, but Atomic Devil was doing great just focusing on Poplots. And once you lose your main support there in the Baptiste, Zenyatta just can't really heal the whole team unless they pop the Transcendence. And a lot of times you don't want to waste it just to keep your team up like that. You want to save it for those big ultimates like the Death Blossom, the Barrage. Said they had to use it a lot for those because Atomic Devil was just doing great with getting those picks on.
And as we're going to be going into the next map here in a little bit, it's going to be Hanamura. Hanamura with this new patch. A lot of people have been saying this is one of those maps that a lot of Bastion will be run still. I'm not opposed to the Bastion against this comp. What are some other things that you could be looking out for on this map?
With both Hawk and Atomic Devil still in, I think there's still a pretty good chance of seeing some Pharah, and both of them have been really strong on the Pharah today. Hawk was looking great on Gardens there on Oasis, and then Atomic Devil was looking great on both University and City Center Pharah. I think I would expect to see some Pharah here. It's not maybe the best map for Pharah, but it's still a map where Pharah can do a lot. Just sitting there in the sky without anyone focusing on her.
Agreed. And then another thing to maybe keep an eye out on is tank-wise with this new patch. That double shield meta is not necessary in every case anymore, that is. There is still a time and place to play it. As you saw, Happy Squids brought it out there at the end. As it's a comp, they've definitely been practicing all season, so they feel comfortable on it. But maybe a comp like the Rhine Orisa, which I know has heard some rumors coming out, or a dive comp, as we saw from Happy Squids as well, or even Reinhardt with the Winston, like we saw from Slipstream. All these new comps can be ran, and I don't see any reason why any of them couldn't be ran here on Hanamura so far.
Well, I have to be honest, the Ryan Winston did surprise me. I didn't expect a lot of value. However, Faye and USO were able to bring that value pretty well. But now we've got Cajun Wise Guy subbing in for Faye, so maybe we'll see some different tank compositions being run between Cajun and USO. Maybe we'll see a lot of the same. Who knows? We've got different player in, different patch. Lots of new things that we can expect here in the next 25 seconds or so to happen.
Oh, yeah. And as of this point, it is definitely not necessary. But if Happy Squids were to win this map, I believe that would push Slipstream to 4th place. Pretty much no matter what. Or at least, I believe so, if they were
It would make it more difficult. There's still always the chance.
They'd have to reverse sweep, yes.
They would have to reverse sweep if they lose this. And you don't want to be put in that position as a team, so I think Slipstream really wants Hanamura.
And taking a look at the comps that we're seeing so far, let's talk about Happy Squids, as they're the ones that are set in stone so far. We get to see Marcus playing this Hanzo again, a character he looked pretty solid on in those first couple maps. But it's double shield.
I think Happy Squids looked pretty good on this composition. However, Poplots jumped off, which makes me think they're going to be switching it out for something. Not sure what we'll be
Maybe.
seeing. However,
He may have just actually missed that jump. It
That's
does
not
happen
good.
to the best of you. Yeah.
not good for Happy Squids right there. Their main source of healing is out right now, and if Slipstream is thinking about that, they're going to really push in as fast as they can here.
And on the side of Slipstream, we're going to see the Orion Zarya comp with a Junkrat Symmetra and Moira Baptiste. A very interesting comp on almost every level here. The Orion Zarya being the only duo that you normally would expect, as they do teleport to point here. Slipstream gets point presence, almost gets a full tick, gets set up. They get that first tick pretty much for free, as you see Marcus here on the side peppering the back line here. The wall comes through, doesn't get any there. Slipstream's almost got this whole point for free, as Atomic Devil does get Marcus. Immortality comes down, and it looks like Slipstream, their aggression is just going to take them through this whole fight, as Hawk is the only one left on point with Poplots being taken down. It looks like that's going to go the way of Slipstream with just a quick aggressive attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're sit down a little bit. Atomic Devil was picked there at the end by Hawk. Hawk and the rest of Happy Squids got those quick revives. However, Atomic Devil had to wait a little bit. However, especially looking at that DPS line, they put in a lot of work. Both of them almost have their ultimate. So this fight could really snowball in Slipstream's favor right here if they're smart about their ultimates here.
And it looks like Slipstream's trying to be a little sneaky here with that teleport. It does look like Happy Squids is trying to scout it, and they've pretty much assumed, since they haven't seen the main, they're probably that way. And that Sonic will definitely give them that knowledge they needed. Ant Matrix came through with a teleporter as well. A little bit interesting. Cajun Wise Guy did get split with that Maywall, as Jim Blue picks up 2. Marcus did go down from Atomic Devil early in that fight. And it looks like Slipstream wants to try and fight this, committing Wall and Cole, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough as Speaker Ryan picks up Yuso. Atomic Devil does get Hawk, though. He's picked off both DPS so far, and he got Poplots. He's gotten 4 this fight now with War and Peace. Marcus comes back and gets a kill on Peter Panning, and it looks like Jim Blue, who I believe got 3 or maybe even 4 there that fight, he's going to be the difference maker there for the side of Happy Squids.
Yeah, it was a strong attack. I like the boldness of that Symmetra teleport. However, in actuality, now looking after the fact, it looked like it just kind of burnt another 10 seconds off of their time bank, and they used 3 ultimates in that fight right there to, I believe, Happy Squid 0 to win that fight. Which is not really what you want to see, because the ultimate economy is very much in Happy Squid's favor right now. They're coming up on 5-6 ultimates, and Slipstream does have 2, maybe 3 coming up in this fight. However, it's not the state you want to be in as the attackers on 2C.
For sure not. And as good as Grav Tire might be, like, you've got Trans and Immortality on the side of Happy Squids. As Sigma Flux comes in with the May ults, and it looks like they're going to try and win this fight really quick on the side of Happy Squids. As it's just Cajun Wise Guy in the back line, went for the charge kill, didn't get one on the way out. Oh, Yuso here does look like he's trying to escape with his charge. And it looks like they're going to let him at this point, as he's able to escape. That's a great kind of consolation prize here. As Hawk switches to the Pharah there, with Poplot switching over. Both of them did use their ults there, so they were already planning on this swap for sure. As maybe they're trying to take advantage of the fact of no hit scans here on the side of Slipstream for sure.
Even with the no hit scan, I'm not sure I like the switch, because Speak to Ryan on the Zenyatta is probably the most healing that the tanks are going to be getting, and that just isn't a lot of healing.
So Tyre comes through, Trans did come through as well. Jim Blue got picked off, but Marcus got Avalex as Cajun Wise Guy has looked a little bit like he's been on the wrong side of a couple of these teleports so far. Atomic Devil here did get to that fight, including the Tyre. I believe he got 3, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. So I'm going to point out, though, Slipstream has gotten a tick based off that first teleport attack they did, so they only have to push through 2 ticks now. That's a huge bonus for their side, as it's a lot easier to get 2 ticks on Hanamura than it is for 3, for sure.
Yeah, but what you gotta look at here, Hawk's already got that barrage after 1 fight on Pharah, so I don't know that Slipstream's gonna be quite ready for it, because it was super quick.
Atomic Devil does get Hawk, as Hawk went aggressive to try and get him, and Avalex picks up 2 with Peter Panning getting 1. It looks like this fight is going to go the way of Slipstream if they can clean this up quickly. Cole gets committed to try and clean this up. They've got almost all the ticks. Hawk's back on the Tracer to try and stall, but it's not going to be enough as Slipstream finishes Hanamura with a respectable 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah, with that, take that pick on to Hawk right away was exactly what Slipstream needed to get in there. Hawks had really big barrages, and just taking Hawk out of the picture right away was exactly what they needed to be able to push in with that aggression. That big shatter from Cajun Wise guy, it really just set them up everything they needed to get at point.
And one thing I have to make a note of for Slipstream, Atomic Devil on these, the best way to put it is like the explosive projectile heroes so far with his Pharah and his Junkrat has looked amazing. His Pharah took a duel against Hawk, who is known to be one of the better Pharahs in Minors, and he looks very strong in that duel, hitting a very nice direct shot onto him. As Hawk went a little aggressive trying to get Atomic Devil early.
And even when Atomic Devil was on the Junkrat, it looked at 2, maybe 3 fights, 2 kills per fight, excuse me, and you can't argue with that effective DPS player. If they can get 1-2 picks a fight, that's a pretty good spot to be in. If they're getting 2, 3, maybe 4 picks every fight, that's that's a lot of work being put in, and it's exactly what you want to see from a really strong DPS player like Atomic Devil. And there's that Junkrat again, exactly what I was hoping to see personally.
Oh, agreed. One thing I will make a note of is Cajun Wise Guy on this Rhine has not looked to be trying to synergize with these teleporters, as most of the team looks to take them, but he has walked past them twice now. I don't know if that's a game plan or something, on their engages at least, but with the defensive teleport here from Owlet, letting them get back to point in case of emergency, and it's going to be this double shield Bap Zen comp that we saw this on defense here, as it's pretty much identical to the comp they ran on the first point of a defense.
It is the same, I believe, so it's something that it seems like they've tried and true, and they know what they're doing with it.
Alright, as the Maywall came through there from Hawk, didn't get anyone split, as Poplots went a little low on the side, as Debugsta gets Speak to Ryan, and Poplots does go down. There's no supports on the side of Happy Squids. Yuso did get taken down by War and Peace, but War and Peace goes down in the process. Hawk going for a cheeky flank there, isn't going to get anyone. And let's see if Marcus gets out. He's not going to. But they did get Yuso, apologies, in that fight. And that's going to be a huge stagger if Happy Squids can take it quick. As we see Hawk making the switch over to the Pharah, as Poplots is going to give up 61% of ult to go Mercy, and Jim Blue goes to the Wrecking Ball as War and Peace goes to Winston. They want to play Furry Dive, and I'm all for it. I'm also for this too. It's normal dive, but I'm still okay with it. Speak to Ryan, that's a lot of ults and ult economy. They just kind of gave up there, as Marcus is the only person who stayed with 60 to ults.
Not really what you want to do after that first attack, because they took a lot of time to get that ultimate economy, and then they just pretty much gave it all up except for Marcus's third strat and strike. So it's a bit of an uphill battle right now, I think, for Happy Squids to get through this with their complete swap. However, hopefully this will be a swap that'll work better for them, as you've already seen Hawk got that big pick on Atomic Devil.
Oh yeah, and as they dive point, it does look like there's a bit of a car wash setup on point, which makes it hard for them to get in, and War and Peace goes down to Cajun Wise Guy, and Avalex with this Nano. We've got Nano Sim out here. That's scary for anybody. As they're trying to stagger out Jim Blue here, which is everybody's favorite thing here on Hanamura. Jumps into the turrets to die. He gets out. It's okay. He's not going to be staggered, but point B, that could be a lot worse. But so far, they got the pick on Atomic Devil, but it's due to the ult economy that Slipstream have that Happy Squids wasn't even able to really make a dent after getting that nice pick.
Yeah, it was a big nano boost coming from Debugsta. Debugsta's just been doing great on this Ana right now. The big Bionades, the big nano, lots of work coming in from that Ana.
You'd have to think that maybe these swaps, as the Simwall did get committed here, as War and Peace, apologies, went pretty deep. Look at Jim Blue here, maybe looking for a little bit of a flank off on the side. Not going for anything crazy yet. Sitting in a spot where it doesn't look like Slipstream's paying too much attention to him. But look at the ults on the side of Slipstream. They've got the combo they want, which is grab with Riptire. Jim Blue does get Debugsta on that cheeky flank that I was talking about, as it doesn't look like they were ready for it. Avalex goes low. The Dragon and Barrage come through from Hawk to break this first point. Cold gets committed from Peter Panning in the 4v6 fight that they're fighting right now, trying to make a difference, as Avalex does finally get taken down, as does Atomic Devil. With just Peter Panning here, it doesn't look like this fight's going to last too much longer as he's trying to stall. And it looks like this fight's going to go in the favor of Happy Squids.
Yeah, it was a strong defense though from Slipstream. They took just about 3.5 minutes off the time bank. It's looking like it's going to come up to, and they've got a pretty strong ultimate economy going into their hold on B. They've got just about 4 ultimates coming on. Happy Squids have about 3, so it's still a respectable thing to have. But on 2 CP, any advantage you can give to the defense is not something you want for if you're on attack. It's already favored very much against you to get B on 2 CP, so you want as much advantage as you can get coming in on the attack.
As we see, Avalex goes over to this Reaper trying to kind of counter this dive a little bit. They don't have a true hit scan, so Hawk's still getting the value that he was trying for, as he's going up trying to get the Junkrat up top. But it looks like Poplot's going really low here on the side, is going to get chased by Avalex, does get picked off, as there's no mercy on the side of Happy Squids, and this fight goes down. The grab gets committed on the War and Peace on the Winston when he primaled. And Jim Blue's the only one left here, as if they can demech him, you can stagger out a D.Va amazingly on this fight. As he does get demeched, Jim Blue's gonna have to go figure out how to get kind of jump off the map at this point. Yeah,
and it looks like he's heading off that edge.
And that's a stagger that, if you're Happy Squids, is gonna hurt your time bank chances, as Slipstream's already now surpassed you in the terms of time bank. You've got to make a play quick, and you're going up against Tire and Shatter. You do have D.Va Bomb, as well as both DPS ults are pretty close to coming online, which can be huge changes in these fights, but they're going to have to counter a Shatter and this Tire. War and Peace did go over to the Orisa here, sticking with the D.Va, probably due to the mines. Shatter got none from Cajun Wise Guys. He got picked. Marcus gets 2 good kills there, and Jim Blue's bomb was able to pick off 1. Hawk got Atomic Devil. Marcus does go down to USO here. Yuso. Hawk gets a kill. The res goes through on Marcus, and Yuso goes down. That's a 6v0 fight, and Hawk with the nano boot, not the nano boost, apologies, just the barrage. That's going to go the side of Happy Squids. And that last fight, they were going up against some good ults. They just looked dominant as they were able to get picks off as that Shatter missed.
That they did. Happy Squids might have the lesser time bank by just a little less than a minute, but I think they were still looking really good there. I think they've got some momentum in their favor. One thing I really want to talk about, though, as a Ana player, Debuxta has gotten some really big bio nades coming in here. Right at the start of that fight, there were 3 people from Happy Squids that were just purple. That means they have no healing coming in, no chance of it, and it's just awesome to see from that Ana. Those big plays come in. Most of the time, they've been getting big value. The team will be able to clean them up. However, unfortunately, in that fight, it looked like Slipstream was just a little too scattered to really get the value out of that big bio.
And as it looks like Debuxta is going to be playing the Baptiste. Kind of got dove a little bit there by Jim Blue on the D.Va for most of that map. Probably didn't enjoy his life too much on Ana. But he was getting value until forcing Happy Squids to pretty much just counter him. With that dive. As we have a comp that I was talking about a little bit being shown by Happy Squids, and I'm kind of hoping we see it. It's Ryan Orisa. The new double shield, as some people have been calling it, with this May Reaper. It is definitely what people are assuming to be meta, and it looks like they're going to run out on it. This meta that people are talking about is all about pulls with fire strikes and all of this. Avalex should get a lot of value just because there's 2 shields on the board again. But other than that, Atomic Devil does go to this Pharah. Doesn't have a Mercy with them. I don't believe Atomic Devil's been playing with a Mercy, actually, except for possibly on Oasis. As Avalex gets War and Peace here, Cajun Wise Guy did go down early to the Reaper Marcus. As Peter Panning gets another, this fight looks like it could go either way still, as the charge comes through on Avalex, but Speak to Ryan went down as well. Atomic Devil gets taken down by the Jim Blue on this Reinhardt, and Jim Blue has been making play after play so far. Even in a fight that you didn't think would win, Poplots gets a nice boop on Uso as he was playing aggressive. Debuxta's trying to get kills here as Poplots and Jim Blue are stalling out point. Jim Blue does go down finally, and Poplots on point looks like he's gonna escape actually, apologies. As it looks like at this point, the respawns are coming in for Happy Squids. They're actually going to probably take this point with this double shield new meta that we've seen. As Atomic Devil's stalling, it looks like they want to try and get it into overtime at this point. Kind of feeding ults to the side of Happy Squids, but they want to get it to OT, which is understandable. It doesn't look like they're going to get it all the way to OT, as Atomic Devil goes down. Teleporter is going to be destroyed here, so they don't want to go through. And that was close from Hawk as he almost just blinked off the point. But it looks like Happy Squids is going to get map 1, and they have the ults to make a attack here on point B. Could be very interesting. You got the Tracer trying to hound the backline up top. Be aggressive here from Poplots. Cajun Wise guy is able to block most of the shatter. It does get one in the backline. Debugsta got taken down. Peter Panning gets charged here from Jim Blue as Marcus with the Death Blossom. Jim Blue got Debugsta and Peter Panning there. Hawk got 2 there. Marcus got 1. And Marcus gets 2. Jim Blue got 2. And Hawk got 2. Fights coming from everybody on the side of Happy Squid so far as it looks now. But Shatter came through, isn't going to get anyone from Cajun Wise Guy. They're trying to make this work, but it looks like these spawns are not going to be enough as Happy Squids just has everybody on point and the ults to kind of hold on to it here as Happy Squids is going to get both points on Hanamura.
I've got to admit, I'm not a fan of that composition that Slipstream came out of the door on. Haven't really had a chance to talk about it yet because it's just been, that whole round was pretty much just one consecutive fight, so I'll talk a little bit to give Blackman a break, but they had the Moira and the Baptiste there on their support line from Peter Panning and Debugsta respectively. However, Atomic Devil was still running that Pharah. You don't necessarily need the Mercy with Pharah to get that value, however, neither Moira or Baptiste can really do much of anything if Pharahs don't be up in the air. You want maybe a Zenyatta or an Ana, or ideally you want that Mercy to really get that Pharah all the value that they can get. However, with the composition that they were running with the Moira and the Baptiste, they could keep the ground up and healed really well. The Symmetra, the Reinhardt, the Winston, they should have all been doing that healing, and it looked like they were. Atomic Devil, though, was just kind of being left out to dry over there up in the sky as far as just nothing really that they could do with the hero pitch that they chose, and I think that's probably a decent bit of what happened there in that fight. The composition just didn't really seem to quite make sense there, in my opinion.
Agreed. And we see the double shield Bastion comp, the comp that I was a little bit afraid would show up, but I'm okay that it's here on Hanamura, a comp that a lot of people have ran throughout the whole season so far. And we're going to see Ryan Zarya, Junkrat May with Baptiste and Moira. Junkrat actually now is not a horrible pick against double shield now that he can pressure down both these shields. As it looks like Happy Squids is content to kind of set up on point, rotate away from whatever side Slipstream's going through. Slipstream's going to go all the way up top, though. A little interesting.
I like the rotation, however, they've got to remember they had 2 minutes and 20 seconds at the start of this round. They don't want to waste any more time than they have to get on point, take care of this Bastion, and if they don't make it in this one fight through the Bastion, they want to give as much time as possible to get it in the next one.
Avalex had to ice block pretty early there, letting Hawk get a lot of kills there, and the charge did come through onto the Bastion, but a nice fortify from War and Peace is going to keep him alive there as the team heals. Peter Panning's getting some cheeky damage off onto the Bastion there in the middle, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough as Happy Squids is going to take that first defense.
I liked the switch on to Diva from USO, however, just right away went to Winston, so it looks like it was just a misclick. I'm not really a fan of the Winston in this competition, I'll have to be honest, because Hawk is sticking pretty close onto that Bastion from Marcus, so that just means the Winston's going to be frozen and just drilled into by the Bastion. I'm not sure I really like that switch, and they don't have really a lot of time to make this fight work and get ultimate, so they really have to hope that this one fight is all they need.
Nice teleporter from Avalex is going to take them up top there as the pole comes through, getting Atomic Devil down early. Marcus is going to be taking a lot of damage here from Avalex and the rest of the DPS on the flank, but with the Amp Matrix coming through for Poplots, it doesn't look like that's going to be much of anything from that rotation from Slipstream. And let's look at like ultimates right now. Slipstream hasn't built one yet. On the side of Happy Squids, they're going to be coming up on, they've had 4 already be built, and they've got almost 5 coming up in this next fight if they can make it last long enough. Yuso got a little bit melted there. This teleporter comes through once again, and it looks like they're going to try and get some kills here as Yuso is going to be melted by the Bastion. The Mayo comes through from Hawk. Atomic Devil did get Marcus though in that fight, but Speak to Ryan's going to get the res off. The tire has to be huge here, and it does get 2, and Avalex picks up Pop-Lots. It looks like Marcus and Ryan are both down. War and Peace goes down. Peter Panning did go down. It's just Atomic Devil trying to stall out the point here on the side of Slipstream, and it's not going to happen. Hawk is going to be right in the middle, ready to stop, and it's going to be all over. Happy Squids is going to win. Hanamura, that's going to put them up 2-0.
Yeah, it's definitely 2-0. Slipstream is still holding them competitively, but it seems when they really need to most, when it's getting towards the end of the fights, each time Slipstream seems to just not be quite as cohesive as Happy Squids. They're still looking strong. They pulled out, especially like that DPS line we were talking about. They're getting all those picks that they need to. However, they just weren't quite as cohesive. It looked like Happy Squid, where they looked like they were still calming well. They were focusing targets. It just didn't look like it was quite there for Slipstream, fortunately.
And one thing that they tried to do a couple times, but War and Peace actually was getting a lot of great pulls there on that point overtime defense from Happy Squids. His pulls were making sure that somebody was pretty much picked most of Slipstream's fights, if not every single one that I could see. As soon as they went to that Winston, they were fighting 5v6 every single time from somebody getting pulled and burned down by that Bastion.
Yeah, War and Peace is a scary good Orisa. Knows exactly what to do on that hero, and you don't want to mess with it. If they want to keep this double barrier meta alive with the Orisa Sigma, Happy Squids looks like they're feeling pretty good on. Jim Blue's got that strong Sigma play, and the May Bastion, like you were talking about, that Bastion setup that still works, and Happy Squids did it really well right there.
And as we said earlier, though, this 2-0 for Happy Squids is not looking good for Slipstream, as they're going to be needing to pretty much pull off the full reverse sweep if they want to play anyone, if they want to make Happy Squids pretty much play second, or even have a chance at not playing Happy Squids in the first round. Which I don't know if Slipstream would like to, but I think they might be interested in with how they've been playing so far. It would be an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, so the way it works right now, if Happy Squids win by 3 or more, they're going to knock the Slipstream into 4th seed. However, if Slipstream's even able to take one of these maps, let alone go all the way to reverse sweep, they will have that 3rd place in stage playoffs. So it's definitely, even if it's 2-0 right now, maybe their mental is getting a little boomed. They want to make sure to keep going, because that third seed right now going into stage playoffs is still more than possible for Slipstream. And they've been looking good. They've been getting lots of strong picks each fight. They're looking together. I think they just need to be able to clinch it up, in the end of those fights, really just focus targets together and get through it all.
And as we're going to be going to map 3 right away here, it's going to be King's Row, a map known to be a Ryan Zarya Wonderland. Well, maybe it becomes a Ryan Orisa Wonderland here with this new patch, as it looks like Happy Squids, after all the success they had on that, they want to try it again with Jim Blue looking very strong on that Reinhardt, and War and Peace's pulls setting him up perfectly.
See, what I want to talk about most, I see the Ana Baptiste support line, and it's a fun support line. You get all kinds of healing out to the rest of the team. The one thing you want to really be worried about is big ults from the other side. So if Slipstream comes out on this right now, you see the Grav Dragon possibility. So you don't really have a support ult other than the Immortality Field from Pop-Lots. However, it's not always going to get the job done for keeping the team alive.
And King here got subbed in. A sub we forgot to mention here. It's going to be King Hawk. It looks like we're going to go back to lobby here as sides needed to be swapped. We'll get it back eventually, but that means actually Happy Squid should be attacking sooner first, and Slipstream will be defending first, which is all good. We'll get it going. But as I was going to say, the King and the Hawk, the DPS duo that we were hyping up earlier in this match, it's the first time we're going to see them together today. So that's going to be very interesting to see how their dynamic works together.
Yeah, I know. I think it was it Mei Hanzo we were seeing there?
I think we saw some Mei Hanzo there sneaking out from them.
So maybe that's what we'll be expecting to see once the Hero Assembly comes out. So maybe we'll still get to see that Ryan Arissa. Maybe we'll still get to see that Bapana. But whatever happens, we're got Slipstream coming up on defense this time, so we'll see whatever they pull out right about now.
And Slipstream on defense look like they really don't care. It's going to be Ryan Zarya with, I think the Pharah was going to be the only difference. It doesn't look like they want to really change anything from their attacking comp, other than maybe this Pharah Mercy coming in.
I'm glad to see the Mercy come out from the bunch still. Like I was saying earlier, the support line they were running just isn't really able to help. However, having this Mercy is really going to allow Atomic Devil to really get in there and get those pitches to stay aggressive because he has that pocket going in for him.
And on the side of Happy Squids, with what they're showing right now, it looks like it's going to be the Ryan Zarya coming through. A comp they haven't ran so far today, from my knowledge. So this is going to be very interesting. Owlet is looking for this wall, and he's going to get a good split here onto two of Happy Squid's members, and Speak to Ryan and Jim Blue. Poplots is going to get over, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything with this wall. As a defensive wall from the King is going to make sure that Cajun Wise Guy gets taken down by Hawk. The May Hanzo DPS duo from Happy Squids does come out again, and it's already paying dividends as Owlet goes down too, making this fight a 6v4 already in favor of Happy Squids. Hawk gets Peter Panning, and the King finally takes down that Pharah who's been in their backline. And that's going to be all Happy Squids all day on the first attack here so far.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been a disconnect between the support and tank lines on Slipstream because you had their tank line being aggressive going over towards the choke, you had the pharmacy up in the air. However, you had Peter Panning just kind of still towards the back, and Moira just can't quite reach the tank line if she's not with them, so she has to make sure to stay pretty close. However, she just wasn't there, wasn't able to get that healing. Maybe it was just a disconnect, maybe differing calls. However, they're still in this. They've got more than enough time to still bring the fight back in their favor.
And the nice thing for them is those staggers that Happy Squids was trying to get onto the Rhine and the Moira aren't going to actually affect them as they all got good spawn. But Owlet does get taken down by Hawk early. As this Dragon comes through trying to deny the res, it isn't going to actually deny it. Dragon's going to get nobody here so far, as both teams are in this kind of standoff here, as I think they're looking to try and grab Barrage from the side of Slipstream, as you're going to see probably Mail or Shatter coming through from Happy Squids. There's the Blizzard. Shatter comes through from Cajun Wise Guy. Isn't going to pick up any off of it. Owlet does get Poplots though, which is a great pick, as the healing has to be used from the Cole now. But Cajun Wise Guy gets taken down. Grab Barrage does come through here, as it gets two as... excuse me. War and Peace and Speak to Ryan both go down. This fight is going to be side of Slipstream as they use Grab Barrage and Shatter, I believe, to get their picks. As it looks like we're going to be going into a pause here.
Maybe we had internet issues, something happened. Either way, we've still got a fight going on, coming up in a little bit. So we got 3 ultimates on the side of Happy Squids. Again, another one, fourth one, pretty close. However, Slipstream, they used a lot of ultimates in that fight. They used the Shatter, although Cajun Wise Guy's already back halfway up to the next one. But then you've still got the other 3 ultimates that they use, the Graviton Surge, the Barrage, the Valkyrie. All they've got right now is the Coalescence, which is a pretty good ultimate. However, it's not really the only one you want going into 3 to 4 ultimates from you.
Yeah, especially not when you have the comp of Pharah and a Zarya looking you down, as King has made that swap, as well as Dragons, which can be comboed into that Grav. A single Grav with the DPS ults could cause a lot of pain for the side of Slipstream so far, even with the Coalescence.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal place to be in for Slipstream. However, they won that fight pretty well. Cajun Wise Guy's still coming back from spawn. However, as you can see up on the top right, Hawk has still got some time before he respawns. So there's a chance for Slipstream to still come together, have a strong fight together on the point. However, Happy Squids does have that Lucio in there from Poplot, so they can try and speed in quickly. Not sure what'll happen once we get this pause off, but it looks like there'll still be a fight coming up pretty quickly.
And one thing to point out is the Shatter from Cajun wasn't able to pick any, but Owlet killing Poplots is the only reason that Grav Barrage was able to work, as he is sitting on that beat, which would have negated most of the damage from that. So Avalex is making plays in the backline here, playing kind of like the Tracer Reaper right now, trying to play in the backlines, harass them, and then come and fight the tanks when he needs to. Which, with the comp that Slipstream's running, it's letting them kind of harass the backline and just let Cajun and Yuso take the fight up front.
Yeah, it was a comp that they do well. Avalex has done really well taking those shadow steps into the backline, getting those pitch like we've been talking about most of the match. So it looks like they're able to just keep going with it. It looks like pause. Yep, looks like pause is about to end, so we're going to jump right back into the match.
All right. And so this second point of King's Row, Happy Squids is going to have a good time bank to try and break through Slipstream's defense with about 4 minutes and 15 seconds coming through. 5 seconds sooner, and it would have been great. As Happy Squids looks like they're going to be going on a little bit of a sneakier attacking flank here, as Hawk is going to show himself up top, as the speed boost and the beat come out aggressively. The Shatter only is going to get Peter Panning, and he isn't going to get any kills out of it, and War and Peace is actually going to be taken down and punished for trying to play so aggressive on my Shatter. Shatter comes through from Cajun Wise Guy to get Jim Blue and Hawk, and it looks like this fight's going to go to the side of Slipstream, even though we had 2 ults to 1 committed from Happy Squids to Slipstream.
That's exactly what you want if you're Slipstream. They had that sneaky attack coming onto them, and it looked like it was going to do really well because they were distracted. They had the rest of the team coming up right in the middle of them. However, they just reacted quickly. They were able to recover really well there. Although if they're not careful, oh, yep, they've seen it out. They statted it out. They know it's coming again.
They're trying for it again here. Hawk does have the dragons to pair with Jim Blue's grab, but he's going to be taken down early as Cole comes through from Peter Panning. Cajun Wise Guy goes in for the charge, gets counter-charged, it's okay. He's going to go down even with the Cole in the backline. Avalex is going to go on to King. Grav came through from Jim Blue with dragons coming through from Hawk from spawn. It looks like he's going to be a little off. Avalex is still trying to get kills here on point, as it looks like it's just him against the world right now, but it's working as he gets both tanks. Atomic Devil's still raining down damage from above, but they're going to disengage for the time being as Atomic Devil is going to be taken down. Avalex, though, has made this fight very winnable on this next contest from the side of Slipstream.
Yeah, Avalex got in there, got those big picks, especially when it mattered right here. And it looks like he and Peter Panning are ready to just pounce down on top of the rest of the Happy Squids there.
And if we look at ults here, Slipstream has turned ult economy in their favor now. That's not a good pick, though, as Cajun Wise Guy gets aggressive. The grab comes through, though, from Uso. Atomic Devil isn't able to barrage into it as he's still on the way back from spawn, and he's now coming back from spawn yet again, as Hawk has been kind of the counter to this so far, even though the King went over to the McCree. But Hawk has gotten the last couple kills on this so far, and it looks like that's going to be all of Point B so far. Because
yeah, it wasn't a fight they wanted to lose necessarily. However, right now, Slipstream's not sitting in a bad position. They got both of the support ultimates out there, and they've got still a Shatter and a Barrage. 2 ultimates you generally would like to have a support ult to try and get through. However, they don't have anything to really block those, and here comes the Barrage.
Oh, a good Barrage comes through, and the Shatter comes through, trying to counter War and Peace, who is looking up at the ceiling. Hawk will get debugsted, though, as Poplots is standing on point. Okay, I thought he was going to go for one of his cheekier boop spots, as this is one of those points that you can see a lot of Reddit Lucio kind of boops. But let's look at Avalex here, trying to keep this sneaky spot. Hawk has Sonic this same spot twice now, so he's probably expecting Avalex to try and play in this area, as that you can see Hawk's trying to hound him right now. And the Sonic will come through and find him. They're trying to get Avalex so he can't hound this backline with Death Blossom, but he's going to come in and go for it anyway. As Atomic Devil will get War and Peace, as they were all trying to go back and help on this Reaper in their backline. He turns just enough, gets a fire rocket direct to him. It's going to be a straight death.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird fight going on right now. They started poking, they got the pick on War and Peace, and then both sides just slowly started disengaging there.
Avalex is still trying to play this little side area. Has been Sonicked again, and as you see, they speed onto the Reaper here. The stun comes through. Wraith will let him escape for the time being, and Cajun gets Ryan as they're being a little too aggressive on this Reaper in their backline. They might want to think about trying to avoid him for the time being. Death Blossom will be committed to get both DPS there as Grav came through for Happy Squids. That is devastating for them, as they're not going to have that ult to engage, and they're going into a Grav Barrage on the side, and Shatter, and a Valkyrie on the side of Slipstream.
And I believe Hawk had the Dragon Strike, but I guess they just didn't think it was necessary for what they're doing, so Hawk went over to that Reaper.
A good block on the Shatter from Cajun Wise Guy. Barrage comes through. Avalex and Atomic Devil, both DPS got taken down early. Shatter comes through, and it's a 6-man from Cajun Wise Guy. He's going to get Hawk and War and Peace will go down due to that Shatter, and it looks like Happy Squids is going to try and disengage. What a Shatter to turn that fight on its head, as Atomic Devil is going to go over to the Junkrat.
Cajun Wise Guy kind of seemed to have a rough start, as you were saying on Hanamura, that wasn't always making it into the teleport. However, it must have been some kind of switch that was flipped going into King's Row, because lots of strong Earth Shatters coming in here. We're getting into last fight territory here.
The High Noon comes through to get Avalex, but the King will lose his life as he was going on a flank on that side. Cajun Wise Guy here charged in again, but wasn't able to get any this time. As Atomic Devil will get Speak to Ryan, though. He's been controlling that high ground very well. Hawk right now playing in their backline, getting a lot of value. It looks like that's going to go the side of Happy Squids, even though the Coalescence got committed from Peter Panning. They're going to try and die on point, it looks like, at this point. Yuso did get the res, though. They might be trying to just build this Grav and have it for last fight, as you're going to have Grav and Tire. A combo that could win them this fight if they're able to stall it out long enough, but both of them are going to be coming back from spawn. Look for some good stall tactics coming through from the side of Slipstream if they want to have a chance at this fight. Death Blossom by Hawk at the door, just making sure the Rhine can't get out. As Tire's going to get committed, but nobody's going to be able to get to point. And that's going to be Slipstream losing the first defense there, as Happy Squids is going to go all 3 points.
I've got to admit, I was talking about Debota's big reses throughout Hanamura. I think I just found the first one I wasn't super crazy about. That res down in the USO, it looked nice at first. It helped them get closer to that having a fighting chance in that last fight there. However, just meant that they weren't able to get grouped up as 6. I think if USO wasn't res, they would have all had time to come back as a team and maybe contest that together. However, instead, they were just staggering on from that point pretty much from that second corner on to the end.
Yeah, and with Slipstream's desire not to play a Lucio right now, it makes it hard for them to engage on Popwats and Happy Squids, as Popwats is able to kind of speed them away if they have a fight they don't want to take, as they're able to disengage a lot better than Slipstream is able to attack. As we're going to be seeing from Happy Squids, that comp that I was hoping for on Hanamura, and it worked very well for them. The Rhine Orisa with Ana Bap, the comp we saw for a second there before the reset had to happen. What do you think of this one so far, Penguin?
Like I was saying, I was saying right at the beginning before we reset, I love the Ana Bap support line because of how much heals you can output. However, Immortality Field is really the only thing keeping you from a fight winning ultimate like Grav Dragon. And as long as Slipstream is able to target out an Immortality Field when they see it, Grav Dragon will still go through really well. It's not like a Transcendence or a Sound Barrier to try and get through those fight winning ultimate combos. So I like the amount of healings that can come through. However, if they set up well, Slipstream should be able to win this pretty quick with a Grav Dragon once those are built up.
And it looks like Slipstream is going to be trying to do some more teleport trickery here. But that's a Mercy Ana healing combo. Something you don't normally see from a Rhine Zarya comp, as the teleport is going to come through to high ground here, as they're going to have the full rotation with high ground now on the against Happy Squids here. A nice teleport there. The pull is good, but it's not going to get any, and that's going to be an interesting rotation coming through from Slipstream so far.
I'm not real sure what they're hoping for here. I would have liked that angle they first had there on the side, just maybe wasting time, but they did get that Maywall out right there. So they're in a pretty good position right here, I think.
And Cajun Wise Guy is going to pick off War and Peace, as Immortality got committed there from Poplots. They were able to destroy it with some nice antis coming through from Speak to Ryan, but it's not going to be enough, as Atomic Devil is going to get the Ryan and the May there as the rest comes through. You've just got Hawk now, as well as Speak to Ryan. Hawk trying to get a kill maybe as he leaves. He's going to get Peter Panning, but they keep up this rate, Peter Panning should be coming back pretty quick. And that's going to be Slipstream taking first fight.
Yeah, it was like we were talking about before the match started. Slipstream likes their kind of weirder comps where other teams might kind of shy away from them. They push towards it, and like I said, it's a lot of fun to watch this team play.
But now we get to see the king on Pharah, a hero he has made himself a name for so far in Minors. Some have called him the best Pharah in Minors. I think he's done very good so far. And you can see it there. He got debugged with that kill as Hawk was able to pick off Atomic Devil. The DPS duo getting their kills, doing their job. It's going to be another longer stagger coming through for Slipstream at this point.
Yeah, they're all together now. They're responding. That's a great pick from Atomic Devil. However, I'm no guess Poplots is going to be able to res it. Yep, Poplots is able to res that. But it's still a pretty good spot to be in. I know Poplots doesn't have the res up now. They can take this fight quickly and hope to get through there before res comes back up.
But look at Hawk on the flank here. Shatter, though, will come through from Cajun Wise Guy. Got some, but King is able to put the damage through as the Dragon comes through from Atomic Devil, picking off Speak to Ryan as it goes through. A lot of ults been committed from both sides here so far, as the Barrage is going to help seal that deal as Hawk cleans it up.
There's definitely a lot of ults that came out there. Not all of them were as effective as the others. But the one I saw most that got the least value was probably that Earth Shatter. It was a strong Earth Shatter, like you were saying. They got lots of people knocked on the ground, Cajun Wise Guy did. However, the rest of the team just wasn't really there to follow up on it. So it'd probably be an ult that would have been better to be saved. However, they've got a 5v6 right now if they take it quick because War and Peace isn't quite back yet. So they might be able to force through this right now just based off their 5v6 here.
And Valkyrie is coming through from both sides. As the Nano Ryan comes through, he wants to try and swing on them, but it looks like that disengage from Happy Squids is going to make that hard as Atomic Devil picks off the King. But the Death Blossom in the background, it's going to get both Cajun Wise Guy and Atomic Devil, and that fight's going to go on the side of Happy Squids if it all stays the same so far. As the res did come through on Cajun Wise Guy, though, kind of keeping him staggered here. Another res late in a fight that might have already been lost.
Yeah, but it does happen. You don't want to harp on it too much, but it is probably a res that would have probably been better to not happen, just as a fence more ult charge. However, right about now, both teams don't really have too many ultimates. Happy Squids is coming up on a few. Slipstream's not too far from some. However, it looks like for the most part, other than Coalescent, there's not going to be a lot of ultimates coming on right away.
Keep an eye on Avalex here as he's going for a very long flank coming around from the side. And it looks like he's going to come in now, get the damage off. He's going to have to Wraith out, but he got a lot of ult there as Jim Blue got knocked to the ground, letting them get the kill. Another good barrage, though, from the King is going to get Avalex and Cajun Wise Guy and Atomic Devil. A great 3k there from the King. And it's another fight, one with one or two ultimates now for Happy Squids.
Ooh, it's a big stagger there from Hawk. Not exactly what you want to see if you started this fight with, I think it was like four or 5 minutes on the time bank, and the Happy Squids has already trimmed that down to a minute and a half.
And something I didn't make a note of is we've got Ryan Sigma, which came out that last fight. A much brawlier comp with the ability to kind of mitigate some of this fire damage, but looking at the King's ult charge, he's almost built a whole nother barrage so far. They haven't been able to mitigate it so much. And let's look at Jim Blue. He's looking for a sneaky shatter here, it looks like. But he's not going to go for it as he charges back to his team. Trying to maybe catch Avalex out with no rate. And the shatter comes through from Cajun Wise Guy. Isn't going to get any there. Dragon gets committed once again, picking up War and Peace. But the shatter from Jim Blue is just much better. Paired with Hawk's Death Blossom and King's Barrage. That was a lot of damage that got output in that one fight.
It was a lot of damage, but that was also 4 ultimates there from Happy Squids that they probably didn't need, and now they're coming up on their last fight for their defense, and potentially, and War and Peace is the only one with their ultimate.
And that is a very late stagger on Atomic Devil as he got caught in the backline, tried to escape, wasn't able to. You're going to have to see Avalex make a lot of plays here if they want to have a chance. As he goes low already due to the Pharah, but they're not going to be able to finish the kill, which is okay. But the Pharah now is playing kind of a crossfire from their team, making it very hard for Slipstream to even really engage. As the Death Blossom comes through here, isn't going to get any value, but Cajun Wise Guy is going to pick up. Both tanks are going to go down due to Cajun Wise Guy with a swing and a great charge. This fight could still go either way at this point, but Avalex and Atomic Devil are going to combine to get the Far Mercy. And the only thing left now is maybe Hawk can make a play on this Reaper as he's trying to sneak behind them right now.
I've got to admit, I had the makings of a heart attack there at the end. No one was on the chart, but the Buster ran right back on the chart to make sure that they were able to keep it in overtime.
All right, and it looks like Bugsa's gonna play the Lucio here, a thing that they haven't really shown so far. But look at Hawk in the back line. He's gonna get Atomic Devil. Nobody scouted him. They weren't ready for him to be hiding behind him. And it's gonna let that Cole, and that looks like Happy Squids is gonna get a nice 5v6 here to start off this fight already.
Looks like didn't get as much value as maybe they were hoping for, though. I say that, but it looks like, yeah, everyone's able to survive on Slipstream. So, maybe not the best use of Coalescence, but, oh, no, there's that late status they have with another potentially last fight coming in here for Slipstream. Not where they want to be in, with Hawk still looking like ready for that flame. Don't be real close here for Slipstream if they want to get all the way through to C.
One thing that Slipstream does have going for them right now is they have the Gravitic Flux, a very strong ult, and the Shatter picks up War and Peace, and they commit the cold to finish that kill. Sigil comes through here, gonna get Jiblu with it, and it looks like it's just Poplots who's gonna be sitting on the side, as well as the King up here on the Ash, playing high ground, and King will get Avalex in that fight, but nobody else is gonna go down here in this fight. We're gonna have High Noon and Beat on the side of Slipstream to win them this next fight, as they're going to do a Shatter, Bongo, Death Blossom, a lot of ults, and then 3 more that could be built pretty quickly here. Especially with this Bongo. As Poplots gets used so early, that is a good flank High Noon from Atomic Devil as Poplots gets picked off, but there's no tanks on the side of Slipstream, and Hawk's Death Blossom is going to get both supports, finishing up this fight, and it looks like that's going to be Happy Squids taking map 3 and sealing themselves a spot as number 1 in the season, or the stage playoffs, excuse me.
Right now, they do have that locked-in number 1 seed. However, it's not for sure that Slipstream's going to be knocked down yet. If they're able to win this next one, they'll only be going down by 2. So there's still a chance for them to lock onto that 3rd seed in stage playoffs. However, they have to bring it back now. They've been keeping all these maps close. They've been really fighting Happy Squids as hard as they can. However, they need to just take it up another notch if they want to win this last map and keep that 3rd seed right there going into the stage playoffs. Otherwise, they have to play Happy Squids again just next week right away as their first match in stage playoffs, and that's what they're seeing tonight. Maybe they're confident. Maybe they'll make the corrections they need to be able to take it out. However, it's still been looking like Happy Squids is winning this matchup, so maybe it's not something they want to take again right away going into stage playoffs.
Agreed. And if you're Happy Squids here, do you think they're going to be taking this last map all that seriously?
I think they should. You never know, sometimes you're feeling confident this is their last map of the season. Looking at other things, even such as the Overwatch League, I remember it was, I think, the Atlanta Reign versus Fusion.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Fusion. It was Boston Uprising. They brought in some of their two-way players, and they pretty much made a joke out of the last map. People were a little upset with them, kinda, because it looked like they were just kind of BMing. Who knows? Maybe you'll see that kind of attitude, or maybe you'll see the attitude Happy Squids have of, okay, we've won this, but it doesn't matter. We still got one map to go. We need to keep going. You never know what attitude they could have, but hopefully they take it seriously, because Slipstream has been fighting them tooth and nail. They've really been fighting. I think they need to take this seriously, otherwise they might come to regret that and lose a map here.
Agreed. One thing I want to point out is the King and Hawk synergy that they were able to kind of display there on King's Row. If one of them wasn't making the play, the other was there on that second part, that whole streets phase of King's Row. Hawk's Death Blossoms and Flanks were getting kills that just won their team fights, and the King, we got to talk about his barrages for sure. He was building them quickly, and he was using them very effectively. On the flip side, though, I have to say Atomic Devil played very well, even in that loss. His McCree looked very solid, as well as some of the DPS that he was able to play there with the Pharah, and I think he played a little bit of Junkrat as well. So a small kind of glimmer of hope on that overall pretty, I guess, disappointing map for Slipstream, as they probably felt they could have played a little better at times.
Yeah, they've got to keep their heads up, though. Like I said, they really fought hard in each of these maps. If they were able to just put it a little more towards the end, it could have easily gone their way if they were able to just finish out the map. So as long as they keep putting in that effort, there's still a strong chance that they could try and take this map, the last map of Junkertown.
And speaking of Junkertown, we know some of the old comps that were pretty favorites here, and one of them has to be Pirate Ship. You think we see a Pirate Ship be run on either side so far?
Happy Squids have already shown they're more than happy to bring out the Pirate Ship, so you never know. They could be bringing it out again. War and Peace really likes that Orisa. Super strong Orisa player. I don't think War and Peace has any qualms playing the Orisa into the Pirate Ship.
I don't think so either, and I think Jim Blue has shown already that his Sigma and his Rhine, whichever shield they decide to pair with this Bastion, this new meta, I think will be more than manageable, as he's looked very solid so far on everything he's played.
I've got to agree. As much props as we're given to the DPS line for Happy Squids, their tank line is also looking just as strong.
Oh yeah, the polls from War and Peace have set up multiple different directs and barrages for the King and Hawk on the Pharah. And I even have to make a note, I think they're just firing on all cylinders right now, as Poplots has been playing out of his mind, and I think Speak to Ryan as well on the Zen and the Moira has looked very, very strong. All around, everybody on their team's been playing at a pretty high level, and I think we're going to be getting right into Junkertown here, and we're going to be seeing from Happy Squids, we see double shield so far, and King took a second, but he decides Mei. So they're going to see Mei Hanzo, Bap Zen, Orisa Sigma.
It might be different. It might be Kenyan instead of Marcus, but I'm pretty sure this is the same comp that they ran on Hanamura. It's a comp they seem to be pretty comfortable with. They seem to like, and unfortunately for Slipstream, they haven't had the best of odds so far dealing with. However, maybe they've corrected their mistakes. They've seen what Happy Squids have been doing, and they feel more confident, able to outmatch this composition. Who knows?
And an interesting thing on the side of Slipstream so far, Avalex is going to be taking the Pharah role from Atomic Devil, as Atomic Devil wants to stay on the Hanzo here, trying to maybe recreate some of the success they were able to have there on that last map. And we're going to see that Happy Squids is holding a little bit further back, deciding to hold low ground under the bridge, a place that we see a lot of teams decide to hold. But look at Hawk already 28% of his ults in just that short amount of time, and Poplot's almost halfway to one. They're building ults very quickly on the side of Happy Squids, and it looks like this poke phase is going to work really well for them.
I wasn't sure how I felt about Happy Squids holding so far back there, because I thought it would give Slipstream a lot of time to push the cart. However, they haven't really been pushing it a lot of the time so far.
Yeah, and Hawk gets 2 good kills there. Poplots already has an amp matrix after that small poke phase. And Hawk gets another there late. Hawk's almost got a dragon. Hawk has been playing very well on this Hanzo, keeping up. And then even Avalex, who's been building ult very quickly for Afara, the King has kept up with on this Mei, as they're just building ults, and hopefully we're going to see them start using some of them here on this next fight. But we also have Cole coming out from the side of Slipstream, so that's definitely one of those ults that can start a fight and get a kill that you need there in the middle of it.
Yeah, it really helps with the Brawly comp that they're pulling out here with that Rhine Zarya. They're able to really just push in, hit that damage, hit the healing.
Sorry to cut you off there, but the Pharah came onto the low ground. Surprised the Zen player, Speak to Ryan. Dragon and Amp Matrix got committed there. Doesn't look like they're getting anything from it, but Avalex will get Jim Blue with a barrage. Poplots did get Avalex, but this fight right now is kind of a 4v4. It looks like Slipstream wants to do a soft disengage here to take this fight 6v4 or 5, get as many as they can. Both ults that were built very quickly there from Happy Squids didn't look like they got all that much value there. But I think it's okay, because they're going to build them pretty quickly. As you see, Poplots is already more than halfway to his next one.
However, good chatter from Bailey in there.
The Mei ult did come through from the King. helping them to pick off no one there, actually, as Hawk did get Avalex, though. Phalian playing very aggressive Rhine style. A little bit different from how Cajun and I believe it was Yuso were playing with Phalian and Invisible Ray. They're playing a different style that I don't think Happy Squids was quite ready for. Happy Squids is going to just be content to give up point A at this point and take the fight on point B, with a Widow Hanzo being pulled out from Happy Squids. The old double sniper that we were all hoping for.
Oh yeah, it's always fun to see that come back out. You weren't going to see this last week before the patch.
Oh, for sure not. Everybody, you just play a Sigma and one or both snipers are already going to be gated. A good dragon comes through to split the team there, forcing Immortality down from Poplot. Speak to Ryan goes very low here in the back, but King gets a nice shot on Atomic Devil and a Bugsta. The King had a small little pop-off there with his 2 so far. Let's see, he's looking for some more here. Doesn't look like he's going to get any so far, but Peter Panning having to play hiding behind that cart because of the King's constant pressure. Speak to Ryan goes low once again. Forced the trans out of him this time as Avalex was trying to play very aggressive. That's a very, I guess, good ult to pick out if you're Slipstream so far.
Yeah, it was really good from Avalanche. Might have went down, but being able to force out that Transcendence huge, because it's such a strong ultimate, can really keep your team up from about anything, especially if they don't have the Ana to Bionate and stop all that healing coming through. There's not a lot you can really do to get through that besides everybody focusing on the same person and melting them, so it's a strong ultimate to get out, even if it's still just let the fight's going pretty well in Happy Squid's favor, with the chain just getting all of these nice headshots that we're seeing on Widowmaker.
And Atomic Devil is going to try and play away from his team currently, meaning we're going to see kind of a duel here between him and the King, with neither getting too much about it. The King gets Atomic Devil, and a huge dragon comes through from Hawk as they were able to Sonic that and get the scout that they were going to push through there. They get everybody there but Avalex, and look at Avalex hiding here underneath. Might look for something aggressive, but shoots a rocket, shows himself, decides, yeah, I should just die and get back with my team at this point.
So we've been hyping up how well War and Peace does with these pulls into ultimates like that. However, that was just straight Hawk right there, that 3K with the Dragon Strike, and you don't really see that a lot unaided from many players at all whatsoever. Usually you need to have some kind of combination with that to get some value, but Hawk just on his own said, I'm gonna ult right here and I'm gonna kill 3 people, just deal with it.
And they have this grab and barrage that they're gonna try and use here. Hawk, King gets taken down by, takes down Avalex. Hawk and Jim Blue will go down due to the grab barrage here so far, and it's just gonna be cleanup now from the side of Slipstream, as Poplots and War and Peace will be the last 2 to go down. But look at the King still staying here, trying to get maybe a kill before he goes down here. They're chasing a little, but that's going to be a late stagger, keeping him away from this fight, maybe for the second part of B. But that cart has a long ways to go, still.
Yeah, it's second time so far on Junkertown only that Slipstream has been doing well with the fights, getting aggressive, however they just have nobody on cart, and can't really do that in escort maps. You gotta remember, Overwatch is an objective-based game, you have to be pushing the cart.
Phalian gets another good shatter. This has been a thing for the Rhyme players on the side of Slipstream. Their shatters have been getting the people they want, but this shield placement from Jim Blue and War and Peace has made it so that Rhyme can get any healing. And we're going to see a lot of swaps come through from the tank line, at least. As Phalian will go to the Sigma, as Invisible Ray wants to play the Winston here. Maybe try and deal with the Hawk on this Hanzo, as he's been getting picks and kills, even though we've been hyping up King with the headshots. Hawk's been just as consistent in doing his job. The King did go over to the Doomfist there, as Invisible Ray got on the cart. No ults here going to come through, though, from the side of Slipstream, as Hawk's Dragon will pick off one. It's just Avalex stalling out cart, and it looks like that's going to be where the cart ends for Slipstream. Very defendable here on Junkertown, as it's very easy to not even get first point, let alone that second turn on B.
It definitely is. However, it's a lot of momentum going towards Happy Squids right now. Like I said, they could have kind of taken this as a joke, like you were saying. Maybe it's map 4, last map of the regular season. Happy Squids didn't do that, though. They've been taking it to the nail. They really want to get this clean sweep here onto Slipstream. They've been looking good. I think Slipstream really don't have to step up here on this last fight if they really want to make sure to hold this and still keep that number 3 seed in stage playoffs.
And if the King and the Hawk continue to play the way they have, as well as the support lineup of Poplots and Ryan and Jim Blue and War Peace, if they all continue to fire on the cylinders that we've seen so far, I'm inclined to say that's going to be a uphill battle for the side of Slipstream, as you're going up against some very strong DPS players, let alone their tanks and supports. And we're going to see a Orisa Hog, Junkrat May, Bap Moira. So back to that Bap Moira that they've liked so far, as well as Owlet is going to play the May here with Atomic Devil on the Junkrat.
With what they're running, I like that for Slipstream. I like that support line now. There's some issues I thought when they were running the far, but this composition they're running, that support line will do really well.
Looking from the side of Happy Squids, they won't go to lock it in. That looks like they're going to be trying to run this pirate ship that we were expecting. I know some people might not be a fan of running the pirate ship here on this map, just due to maybe the circumstances. But I think it's going to pay dividends for them, and a team like Slipstream probably needs to play well against it, and it doesn't look like they were really expecting the Bastion, as Debugsta got caught out there by it, meaning one of the main sources of healing from the side of Slipstream is going to go down, and the only way really to save against this aggressive hold they're going for is they're playing in the side room, trying to just keep contesting it, keep staggering in, and it's not going to be enough as the King and Hawk are going to combine to get as many kills as they need, and they're going to have both DPS ults coming online here, making it very hard for Slipstream to contest.
I don't think they're actually going to even be able to contest this on A. They've got so many ultimates coming against them from the DPS line. I think they just hold B. And it's going to be an uphill battle here. It's 5.5 minutes just shy. And all they have to do is a little over halfway to B. And it's going to be a really uphill battle, like you were saying. I think Slipstream really don't have to pull it together here. Focus on ultimate economy. But here we go.
And keep an eye out on the King, as his barrages so far have gotten 1, 2, or even 3 or 4 kills. So look for him to try and make an opening, as Avalex is trying to play in the back line right now. As Hawk got hooked there, but the King's barrage is going to get Debugsta before he's able to get Immortality down. Immortality will save the rest of the team, as Cole's going to keep the rest of them alive, but the King did get Debugsta early, who is pretty much the only other ult available, and Hawk's going to burn down Atomic Devil. It's not looking very good for the side of Slipstream so far, as Happy Squids has the ability to just kind of press Q here for this last little bit. And it looks like they're going to push through this last little bit, and that's going to be a 4-0 to the side of Happy Squids, as they clinch number 1, and Slipstream is going to be the number 4 seed, meaning this is going to be a rematch in the first round of stage playoffs. A very competitive, I have to say, match, even though maybe the scoreline might not show it. If you take out Junkertown here at the end, I think every map they played, they put up a great fight and were able to push against them and kind of contest Happy Squids, who have shown themselves to be one of the top teams in the league.
I've got to agree. Up until Junkertown, it looked like most of the maps could have gone either way, especially Oasis and Hanamura. However, Junkertown, you got to give it to Happy Squids. That was about as clean as it's gonna get right there.
Yeah, and with them running the Hanzo Widow there for a minute, you got to see some of the, I guess, DPS and hit scan abilities from both of these heroes. They have both these players, excuse me, they have great mechanics, and they were able to kind of put those on display there. All in all, though, I think this match, if for Happy Squids, they have to recognize it's going to be a much bigger challenge than they probably expected in playoffs.
Yeah, so we've been hyping up a lot of different people. Who, if you had to look at one member of the team, who would you say was that MVP?
Ugh. So even though we've been hyping up the DPS for most of the game, I think a man who we hyped him up a lot on that first map, and he kept that same kind of performance anytime on any hero. And I think Poplots for me played very well. I think everybody on Happy Squids and everybody on Slipstream as well. But I think Poplots looked very, very solid and was able to kind of help keep their aggressive playstyle alive on that Baptiste at times. And then at on that Lucio, he was getting boops and stalling out points just the way you need a Lucio to. I think he played phenomenally today.
I've got to agree. I was either going if it's Poplots myself or the Hawk. Those two were just kind of stood out the most to me. They both did really well. But like you said, this whole lineup, they work really well together. They're definitely going to be forced to be reckoned with here in stage playoffs.
So I think we're going to be doing a interview here at the end, and I think we want to. It will be Poplots who will be joining us coming up here. So we'll be back in a minute with that interview with Poplots, or we'll do it right now. Apologies, he got in really quick.
Yeah, faster than we were expecting.
All right.
How are you feeling, Poplots?
Me? I'm feeling great.
And you played it. I have to say, there was multiple different times where you were building ult even before the first fight was over. Is that something you try to focus on, building up those ults, or was it just kind of comes with the territory of playing against some of the poke damage that Slipstream was doing?
So we kind of were playing a spam comp that pretty much implied we were going to take a lot of damage but tank it with the Immortality Field. So every time we took damage, my splash shields just gave me a lot of ult charge. And with that, I just farm balls like as quick as I could because I knew about this ult is not that much in like the long term, but in the short fight is significant. So I try to build a fast ult. I don't know if I did it okay, but
You did more than okay. Don't you worry there. You were getting those ultimates as Baptiste super quick. You had very strong game today, especially on that Baptiste.
thank you, appreciate it.
So this does lock you guys up for the first seed for stage playoffs. How are you guys feeling about that? You feeling confident? Are you feeling? What are you feeling?
We're feeling really good about it. Like, there's nothing better than being in the first place coming out to playoffs. Like, that's what we wanted because, like, we were already qualified. We could have like thrown the game, but I am really like that this team is like we never win till we see the victory screen, and we play with that mentality like over and over again, so we don't get like excited or overexcited for like winning one map and then we lose all the maps. I mean, we did it against you guys, but that's like an exception. Well, so we play with this mentality of we don't win till we see the victory screen. So pretty glad that we're in first place since you guys retired from the stage playoffs. We're gonna see what happens there because I think we face Slipstream again.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
Slipstream, your first match of the stage playoffs here. Do you think you need to change anything for the rematch? Or are you guys feeling pretty good? You think you'll be running a lot of the same? I don't want you to give away anything, but if you want to answer that, if you don't want to, but don't worry about it.
I feel like they got definitely way stronger than the first time we played them. Like I think they've been doing really good, and this meta switch kind of favors them. So yeah, that I think they got way stronger, and we need to practice a little bit more because like we were planning these comms, and then the patch came out with some buffs that are not there anymore. So we kind of had to switch in the last moment. So we gotta practice that more. Like we gotta polish that. And we also, I personally wasn't expecting Slipstream to give up this fight. Like they did really good. They scared the, I don't know if I can say this word, they scared the poop out of me. And well, at the end we ended up pulling it off, but it was definitely really scary. And congrats to them because they're getting better and better.
Well, they definitely did put up a good fight, but you guys played very well today. And I want to point out one thing that you guys did today that makes my heart happy. That on Oasis, you guys played a comp close to my heart called Furry Dive.
Yes.
Has this been something you guys have been practicing? Because everybody looked very solid on their roles in that Furry Dive comp, and it got you a lot of value there.
We definitely talked about it like in the past, but we never really committed to it a lot. Like, but with this new patch, I think it might be viable for some maps. Well, that's my opinion, though. We're gonna see how the meta switches as the time pass. But yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the comp because it's something that you don't see a lot nowadays.
I appreciated that comp. I also appreciated the Rhine Orisa comp, which I think is maybe what you were kind of referring to, one of those comps that you were planning, and then the buffs didn't all come through. I
Yeah,
think
there is a thing. It was pretty unexpected, but the comp can still work in certain situations. Like, I'm not gonna reveal everything because
oh yeah.
first of all, I'm not the coach. Second, I will be like talking too much. But
Understandable.
I feel like some things can work if you use it at the right place at the right time.
Well, that's all I had for you. If Black doesn't have any other questions,
I don't have any more questions. You have anyone
congratulations.
on your team you want to give a shout out to, Snow Poplots?
You called me Snow for my
I did.
Okay, Snow. Giving a shout out to Dumpster Divers because it's gonna be
Ooh.
an exciting series if we go against them. Since we're like, personally, my record against them is like 1-1. So looking forward for that game.
All right. Well, Dumpster Divers, you heard him. He's looking forward to it. He wants to get out of the 500 that he has. Well, I think that's all the time we're going to have. Good luck in the stage playoffs here, Poplots.
Thank you.
And good luck to Happy Squids in total and all the teams participating. And that's going to be it for us for tonight, though. We're going to be wrapping up with Happy Squids taking the 4-0 against Slipstream tonight in the Owlet Tournament Minors Division. Thank you all so much for coming in and watching with us. We hope you had as much fun as we did watching that game. And I can't wait for the rematch here in stage playoffs.